How unprecedented is Trump's idea of setting up a sovereign wealth fund for the United States? I know that the Biden administration, they toyed with that, but Trump sounds serious.
Yeah, and I think the confusion comes with the term wealth, right? So sovereign fund, any country can set up a sovereign fund, but people get confused with the term wealth because the U.S. doesn't necessarily have wealth, right? But at the moment, there are 25 different sovereign wealth funds actually in the U.S., but they are at state level. And that's one of the main challenges in the U.S. is that public finances are managed by state very autonomously. So I don't think it's such a big challenge. It's just that the misleading term takes people in the wrong ways.
Yeah, interested. I mean, and doesn't this sort of go against everything that America has purportedly stood for many, many years, right? The state doesn't get involved in the private sector, but now it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the challenges, right? People are talking about acting as an umbrella fund, like a Temasek, if you will, where they put in an umbrella fund all the assets that the state owns. But in the case of the U.S., those assets are not too many. You're talking about USPS, you're talking about Amtrak, you're talking about FAA for their control. But that's about it. I mean, there are not too many assets that are still owned at federal level. So I think one of the main challenges is to find those assets or that revenue stream that will allow the U.S. to set up this federal sovereign fund.
A lot of questions then. Treasury Secretary Bessent has said that the fund will be created in the next 12 months. Is that a realistic timeframe?
It sounds very challenging, to be honest, especially if you haven't identified the proper mandate, the revenue stream, or how the capital is going to be seeded. So it sounds very challenging. And if you go in our backyard, you have examples in the Philippines, in Indonesia, where the fund has actually taken years to be set up. So it definitely sounds very challenging, especially if you add the TikTok potential investment into the equation, which is supposed to happen in the next 60 days, right?